Our group is MuTracky, the environment-aware application launcher that's designed to be dynamic and changed based on your location and lifestyle. In this case, all of the applications are consolidated into a single widget that dynamically changes based on your location and the frequency you use the applications at that location. The first of the 3 tasks we chose was launching an application. MicroTracky should show an individual the applications that are most relevant to them depending on his or her location. This functionality automatically changes the way that applications are presented to you on the widget. For instance, if you were to wake up in the morning and look at your phone, the application would know that you are at home and it would present you the information that would be most relevant to you in the morning. We chose this task because it relates to the core functionality of the application. The second task we chose was changing application display settings. The settings menu gives users a lot of fine-grained control over how the application works. One of the biggest problems we foresaw was that as phones get larger, touching icons in the top corners becomes more difficult. The reason we chose this task is because changing application display settings is about making phones more useful and efficient for users. We also realized that each user will have different phone layouts, including different sized phones and different screen layout configurations. We also wanted users to be able to modify what applications were shown at each location if they found that the default ordering was incorrect. The third task we chose was visualizing statistics based on an arbitrary amount of time. Data gathered from this application allows users to analyze their own patterns if they want to. This aspect could also incorporate a social aspect where individuals can see what applications are frequently used in a certain area by people in general. We thought it would be interesting to allow users to collect and view information about their day-to-day application usage, which is why we chose this as the third task.
Now, I'll be walking you through each of the 3 tasks using our prototypes. The first task is to launch an application from the MuTracky widget. Specifically, we are going to launch Spotify. Swipe until Spotify is brought to the front. Okay, now I'll click on Spotify and the music is playing now. Now that the music is playing in the background, I go back to home to launch Google Maps. If the Google Map icon is not already in the front, I swipe the carousel left or right accordingly to bring it to the front. The navigation has started. The second task is to change application settings. Yelp needs to be added to the travel category and YouTube should be removed from that category. The settings page can be accessed by clicking this icon. Next, we drag the Yelp app to the travel folder. Yelp is now in the travels folder. Great, now we have to remove YouTube from the travel category. When you click on the YouTube app, a delete icon appears. Tapping on the delete icon removes the YouTube app from the travel folder. The third and the final task is to view user statistics. The stats screen can be accessed by clicking on this icon. When you click on individual spots on the map, the application usage statistics of that area will be highlighted. Next, we'll be performing the same task using prototype 2. We'll be launching Spotify application followed by Google Maps using the coin flip design. This widget flips through all the applications every 2 seconds. The interval can be manually configured by the user. Alright, we finally see Spotify. We click on the Spotify icon to launch it. Now we return back to home screen to launch Google Maps. Google Maps is launched now. This marks the end of task 1. Our next task is to change the application display settings. We launch the display settings by clicking on this icon. Now we can add Yelp to the travel category by clicking on the list. Turn the Yelp button on. Yelp has been added successfully. Now let's remove YouTube. Turn the YouTube button off. YouTube has been removed from the travel category. Our final task is to view the application usage statistics. The statistics page can be launched by clicking on this icon. Clicking on each category highlights the respective category as well as highlights it on the map. This enables us to see the most frequently used apps in each environment.
Our MateBy prototype differed from the paper prototype because MateBy introduced more automation into the prototype. In our paper prototypes, every interaction required a conductor to navigate and display paper objects and screens. On the other hand, MateBy prototypes allowed it to be more self-reliant. Configurations such as page transitions and other similar interaction is done automatically and without human assistance. In Made by Prototypes, uh, we it was made by utilizing a tool called App Demo Store, which allows users to create a mobile-focused interactive presentation and demos with ease. There are many aspects to compare between the two prototypes. In Prototype 1, the advantage of it was the carousel feature. The user can see a preview of apps and easily compare what apps are coming next when you scroll throughout the widget. Another advantage is the app display settings, where gestures are used in the app display settings, i.e., drag and drop, where it is more visually comprehensive than the other alternatives. One disadvantage of Prototype 1 is that it takes up more space on the home screen. Another disadvantage is the user statistics page, where it is not as useful and it only serves for one recreational purpose. An advantage of Prototype 2 is that an application automatically creates time slideshow of the app, and this eliminates the need for browsing. Another advantage of Prototype 2 is it takes up less space in the home screen, as well as the app display settings, where it is straightforward and provided fast input in disabling and enabling an application which is just a clicks away. A disadvantage of Prototype 2 is that you have to memorize the order of the application to appear in, since there are no preview or previous applications available.
Once both prototypes were made, we took both to another group in our class and presented it to them. We introduced them to the project and its goal, the three scenarios, and walked through how to accomplish all the tasks with the prototypes. We then allowed them to play and interact with the design themselves, and accepted and recorded their feedback. In some cases, we modified the prototype on the fly based on their critiques. We found that when shown many icons at once, people expect to be able to click on a particular icon and have it open automatically. Our current designs bring the icon to the front of the cycle, and when clicked a second time, will launch the application. It was also brought to our attention that users should have some ability to interact with the interface. For example, for a single icon interface, the icons automatically rotate over time. It was pointed out that giving users the ability to also manually cycle through applications would be desirable, even if it took just as long for the launcher to cycle to the correct application icon on its own. Giving people some control makes it feel faster to the user. Based on the critiques, we've already made some adjustments as to how we will handle the cycling through icons. It is also likely that we will change how icons are laid out so that all 5 most frequently used applications are displayed at once and are immediately accessible.